kind of big names that are coming out.
Who's currently spending a couple of $1 million a year.
In increasing your cognition, it would help in improving your energy levels.
These names and these people are becoming more and more popular on a daily basis on social media.
Integrated into your routine and done over the course of months, if not years.
Now when I see Gen Z population, which is in their early and mid-20s coming up.
Whoop bands, sleep rings, etc. and kind of doing a lot of diagnostic testing.
Within the space, so much more than you could even imagine.
Especially amongst Gen Z and millennials, as we spoke about, is really getting a kind of great grip on it. Hi, welcome back to The Wellness Blueprint, a podcast by The Wellness Co., where we decode wellness to make it simpler, science-backed, and more real. Today, we're going to be talking about one of the buzziest concepts in wellness today, which is biohacking. Now, biohacking has been talked about a lot on social media and in the news in recent years and recent months, as covered by celebrities, top athletes, and longevity professionals. Today, we're going to be breaking it down, talking about what biohacking is, the simplest ways to integrate it into your life, and what outcomes someone can expect by introducing a biohacking protocol into their daily routines. Today, I'm joined by my co-founder, Rohan, and Dr. Guneet Bedi, our longevity specialist here at the Delhi clinic of the Wellness Co. So, Dr. Guneet, just to get a little introduction from you on biohacking, how do you view biohacking today, and what does it kind of mean to you when someone says that I want to follow a biohacking protocol?
To me, biohacking is the science of using biology along with targeted therapies to enhance your performance, which is both mental as well as physical performance.
So biohacking has been getting a lot of attention in the media recently, and these days we see it kind of being propagated as anything that someone does to kind of, take care of themselves, or anything that they do in the realm of self-care can be termed as biohacking. If we break it down on a more scientific level, what are the different kind of, let's say, components or things that someone can do during the course of their day that would be considered biohacks, or things that would help them, let's say, optimize their biology, like you said?
So few things that a person can do at home would be taking care of their sleep cycle, making sure that, they either meditate or something to calm your mind down so that your sleep quality improves, and maybe have physical exercise in your day-to-day routine. I mean, these are a few things that one can do.
As Rohan and I usually have a lot of conversations about these topics in terms of kind of longevity science, biohacking, health optimization, etc. We have a lot of conversations with people on a kind of daily basis because of the kind of big names that are coming out in the world of, let's say, neuroscience and human physiology, etc., where there are people like Dave Asprey, one of the fathers of biohacking, who kind of popularized the concepts of intermittent fasting, nootropics, cryotherapy, cold plunging, contrast therapy, etc. So there are names like him. Then there's Ben Greenfield, who is known more in this kind of fitness space for really kind of tracking someone's workouts, their sports optimization, the performance, the biomechanics that go into different kind of, fields of fitness as well. These names and these people are becoming more and more popular on a daily basis on social media, and their kind of, let's say, fame and their kind of notoriety and the attention that they're bringing to these topics, I think, especially amongst Gen Z and millennials, as we spoke about, is really getting a kind of great grip on it. And they have a lot of good information to share with people. So that is something that we see a lot, pushing people towards this concept and being more open to learning more about it as well.
And then we also have Brian Johnson, who obviously is one of the big ones in this space, who's currently spending about a couple of $1 million a year, making sure, or actually trying his best to live forever. So that's one of the concepts that he's been subscribing to, and he's been doing a lot within the space, so much more than you could even imagine. So yeah, there's a lot of people in here doing some very interesting work, and we learn from them every day.
Of course. And then on the kind of, let's say more on the scientific end, we have people like Andrew Huberman, Peter Attia, Gary Brecka, etc. as well. Lots of the other big names on, let's say, on the science front, doctors themselves as well, who are kind of really embracing this change in the kind of, mentality from, like I was saying earlier, from a reactive healthcare model to a preventative healthcare model, and looking at it as a holistic science where we take care of, the kind of all pillars of physical well-being and, let's say, mental well-being as well for a person, and that all of these factors technically are really, really connected and interconnected in the body. So it's very important to look at the whole picture so that it's not that you're ignoring a certain area of someone's life. You try to give them the best advice and the best, let's say, knowledge. And I think that's what people are really gravitating towards these days as well. So Rohan and I actually, as kind of the founders of the Wellness Co., biohacking has been one of the kind of, let's say, buzzwords that we try to kind of look at and try to educate people on a little bit more in terms of the fact that you don't have to, let's say, leverage super expensive therapies or health protocols, etc. But they are very helpful in case you are looking for certain specific outcomes with regards to your health, right? So maybe if you could touch a little bit more on that and kind of what someone can do from a therapeutic lens to help themselves in the realms of, let's say, physical fitness, sleep quality, and just health optimization and feeling better on a day-to-day basis.
So there's therapies like maybe hyperbaric oxygen therapy that would help to improve the oxygen supply in the blood, because it's seen that and it's backed by various studies that when you take hyperbaric oxygen therapy, wherein you take oxygen under pressure, it improves the plasma oxygen level by 15 times, as well as increases the mitochondrial function and ATP production. So that would help in increasing your cognition. It would help in improving your energy levels, and also maybe taking a red light therapy along with it would help in improving your ATP levels and hence increasing the energy and cognition levels.
Right. I think there are a lot of therapies that we've brought here at the Wellness Co that obviously will be considered biohacks from a greater lens. But when we talk about biohacking as a concept itself and why it's gained so much momentum in recent years, I think it's because a lot of people and a lot of influencers have started integrating biohacking into their day-to-day routines and then also constantly posting about it. If we just look at the market for biohacking, it sits at about $28 billion currently, and it's projected to go over $64 billion by 2028. So as we can see, the market is exploding, and there are new and very, very unique therapies that continue to come into the market and under development through various different companies. So I think there's a lot of excitement within the space itself. If we look at the future of biohacking in India, for example, what would you say is something that people should be looking for currently within tier 1 cities, whether it be coming to the Wellness Co for therapies or looking at some other option as well?
See, I think it starts from within, and it starts from home. And you could probably do some mind wellness activities, be it maybe like meditation or maybe going out for walks, or some sort of physical exercise that would improve your mental well-being as well as physical well-being.
Right.
And of course, they can come into our clinic and try some of the therapies that we offer here, which would be like a red light therapy or an infrared sauna to improve your sleep quality,
Right.
and also to calm your mind down. And then there could be something for physical activity as well, like we have the EMS training here with us, which would help in the physical activity and the
Right.
physical aspect.
And in your experience, have you seen a lot of Gen Zs and millennials walk in to our clinics looking for wellness? Because what we've seen is apparently the participation from the Gen Z and millennial population with wellness therapies has exploded quite a bit in the last few years. McKinsey said that over 70% of Gen Zs are adding these sort of wellness therapies that we offer at the Wellness Co into their routines.
Absolutely right. I completely agree with you on that. In fact, it was just very recently that a very young boy, probably in his mid-20s, I would say, came in and wanted to take hyperbaric oxygen therapy. So which was really amazing, because you do see people in your 30s coming in, but now when I see Gen Z population, which is in their early and mid-20s coming up, and their concern is not aging, right? Their concern is that we want to be healthy and we want to be better. We want to feel better. It's not only about looks now, it's also about feeling better from within. So yes, so of course that is right, that there are a lot of Gen Z population that comes into the clinic, and it's really amazing to talk to them, because the concept of also feeling good is something that is, I think, new in our country right now, and I'm guessing it's going to increase with every passing time.
Definitely. I think when we look at biohacking as a topic, it's more about using science, data, the right expertise, being guided by the right set of doctors, healthcare professionals, nutritionists, mind wellness professionals, etc., to help you feel better. Like you said, it's a holistic picture that we're trying to look at, especially here at the Wellness Co, and where we see the kind of wellness industry shifting towards is something that goes beyond traditional healthcare, where it's no longer a state of reactive medicine, but more about prevention. And what can we do at the day one level, rather than kind of, waiting and seeing a problem develop and seeing something in life kind of, let's say, go wrong from a medical perspective, or even from, let's say, an emotional perspective. What things can we do to kind of, keep our bodies healthy, our minds healthy, and of course, leverage the best of what, let's say, science has to offer in terms of the technological advancements that are taking place. and what kind of data can be leveraged. These days, we see a lot of people using wearable technologies like Whoop bands, sleep rings, etc., and kind of doing a lot of diagnostic testing as well with us here at the Wellness Co, and getting deep insights into what their body is telling them and where, let's say, different biomarkers are and how they can work on those and improve those further.
Yeah, so I think while we're on the topic, it's also, I think, important to address a few misconceptions that might exist in the world around the concept of biohacking. A lot of people say that a quick diet or a quick gimmick or a quick fix can be considered a biohack. But I don't think that's actually true, because that's a very unsustainable process. If we look at biohacking in general, it's something that needs to be integrated into your routine and done over the course of months, if not years. Would you be in agreement with that?
Absolutely, I agree with you, because it's not about just maybe starting a detox diet and then you do it for maybe a month or a couple of months, and then what happens after that? You go back to square one. So I think it is supposed to be a part of your lifestyle, something that kind of stays with you for a long time.
Right. And I think, as we touched on the concept of the Gen Z population coming into the clinic, one more thing I wanted to ask you is, according to you, what's the importance of starting on this journey at a younger age, and how do you see that developing over the next decade or so?
I think prevention is better than cure. And along those same lines, I think if you start early, you're preventing yourself from conditions like atherosclerosis, which is basically which can lead to heart conditions. So if you start maybe in your mid-20s, then you're preventing yourself from going towards heart attack, which has become very common these days, especially in your late 30s and early 40s. That's the trend that we see. There's so many news that we hear about young men or women in their late 30s or 40s hitting the gym, doing everything right, eating healthy, yet they end up in the ICU and have a near-death experience. So so of course, that clearly states that all this process starts way early on. And so if we start all these wellness therapies early in life, I'm sure it's going to help us.
Right. And I think when we look at what the kind of newest studies and what the research is also pointing towards is something very similar, right? Where, let's say, someone is only taking care of only the physical well-being part, right? Where they might even be super active, like you said, they would be playing sports or going to the gym, etc. But they might also simultaneously be working long hours, right? But they're not so much focusing on the recovery aspect. They're not so much giving time for themselves to, let's say, look at or do a deep dive into what their body might be telling them. They could look super healthy on the outside as well, but what we're looking at is going deeper beyond the kind of aesthetic level and how someone appears on the outside. We want to find out what's actually going on inside their body at the cellular level, and using science to, of course, kind of figure out if there are some interventions needed, something from a supplemental angle, something from a therapeutic angle, something from a kind of, let's say, recovery timeline, any of those things that can help a person avoid an injury or a sickness and prevent, even in many cases, some of the kind of genetic disorder risks that we see quite prevalent. So is that something that, you have seen kind of working for people at the Wellness Co especially?
Yes, absolutely. A lot of athletes, especially ones that have a very physical lifestyle and, are physically more active than the general population. So they do come in here to take whole body cryotherapy, which helps in reducing the soreness in your body. Like even from a single session, the soreness goes down by 40% after an intense workout. So I think it's really important for your body to heal as well. It's not only about, like you said rightly, it's not about just working and burning out. It's also about making your body heal. So we do have therapies like whole body cryotherapy or Far Infrared Sauna that is really helpful for relaxing your body. We also have IV drips to replenish lost vitamins and minerals, which would help in boosting your energy.
Right.
I think one more important discussion point here would be the importance of your brain health and your cognitive function. We have a very interesting stat here by the WHO saying that on average, a decline in cognitive function affects about 40% of the people by the age of 60. And we know that hyperbaric oxygen therapy can actually help in maintaining cognitive function up until a more advanced age. So in your opinion, what's the role you see hyperbaric oxygen therapy playing within the mental well-being space to boost cognitive function even to latter stages in life?
I think that's one therapy which has way too many studies published. And, if you happen to see the internet, there would be way many. And I think it is something which is very common in the West. The concept is probably a little new in India, but I would still say there's a lot of awareness, a lot of people who come in, and we were talking about Gen Z right now. So in fact, one of my clients was a 25-year-old male who came in and said, I want to take hyperbaric oxygen therapy. So it was not something I suggested him, but he told me that I want to take it. So, and I asked him why, and the answer was that, I want to improve my cognitive function. And moreover, there are a lot of studies which say that it is preventative for Alzheimer's, Parkinson. We think sitting in India that, these diseases don't affect our population. It is something of the West. But unfortunately, that's not the case. You see so many patients of Alzheimer's and Parkinson in India. And wherein if we start hyperbaric oxygen therapy earlier in life, there are studies that say that, it would be a preventative thing. So when we take in hyperbaric oxygen therapy, like I said before, the plasma oxygen level increases in the blood. And that increased oxygenated blood is going to your entire body, basically your brain and the other internal organs. So that definitely helps in elevating your mood. It also helps in your cognitive function. It also increases your focus.
Right. And a study done by Frontiers in Psychology back in 2020 also shows that continued use of hyperbaric oxygen therapy increases stem cell release by almost 8-fold. So that's also obviously a very, very big benefit of the therapy itself. And when complemented with red light therapy, as you mentioned earlier, also increases ATP productivity within the body. So there are obviously a lot of benefits to HBOT, and so far we've only covered one, but we have so many different things here at the Wellness Co, which obviously offer a whole host of different benefits as well.
Right. And when we look at what we're offering as a comprehensive wellness program to our clients and to people, when we look to educate them as well, it's really about finding where the different therapies and different interventions can complement each other, right? And we look at the whole picture. We're talking about improving someone's sleep quality, tracking and giving them measurable data and results in terms of programs that help them with those different goals that they might have, whether it's improving their energy levels, improving brain performance, reducing stress or anxiety, improving their kind of quality of life on a daily basis so that they can pursue the kind of, goals that they have professionally and personally without the risk of burning out, like you said, right? And again, coming back to the topic of biohacking in that sense, it's really the case that we're hoping to get measurable outcomes and data points for people as it kind of relates to their wellness journeys and improving the results that they are seeing with every aspect of their lives. So if you could maybe touch a little bit on the kind of, role of, let's say, biohacking or health optimization in terms of stress, in terms of anxiety, in terms of kind of improving mental resilience, how would you kind of see that?
In our clinic, the therapies that we can offer for relieving stress would be an infrared sauna. It is said that it decreases the cortisol level in your body by good 30 to 40%. And along with that, it also helps, it improves the blood circulation. So because it causes vasodilatation. So infrared sauna helps in improving the circulation. It also helps in detoxifying your body because you kind of sweat out all the toxins and the heavy metals that get accumulated in your body. It also helps in increasing the antioxidant level in the body. So that's how it would help in relieving stress. And along with far infrared, we could combine a whole body cryotherapy, which would act like an adjunct to it and give a synergistic effect also, because whole body cryotherapy also helps in reducing the stress levels in your body. It helps in releasing endorphins so that you have a nice good night's sleep as well. So I think these two therapies combined would really help in relieving stress and anxiety.
Right, absolutely. I think we have a couple of stats here saying that approximately 75+% of people experience some sort of stress-related symptoms on a daily basis. And again, this is something which needs to be made a conscious effort in a daily life where someone needs to focus on, let's say, breath work or meditation and doing things to kind of, calm the brain down, because currently with the kind of climate that we live in and the kind of stressful environments that we do kind of face, especially in India, with regards to air pollution and adulteration in food and beverages, these are a lot of risk factors environmentally that contribute to the kind of increase in cortisol levels and increase in stress-related factors. We also, of course, have seen that regular sauna use these days, with a lot of studies being published, leads to approximately 40 to 50%, reduction in the risk of heart disease as well at a regular basis. So there are a lot of different things. And then, I love that you mentioned contrast therapy as well, because that's something that I myself, Rohan, and a lot of our friends who are regular athletes and kind of go to the gym or play sports on a regular basis, Even, let's say we had a High Rocks event that took place in Mumbai recently, and we had a lot of athletes from the High Rocks event came to us. Contrast therapy is super great at relieving muscle soreness, improving mood and focus, and just kind of giving an overall well-being boost as well. Right.
Yeah, and I think one more important topic to touch on here would be weight management and optimization, and maybe even how someone could use these biohacks to boost their metabolism. Because considering how big of a problem obesity is in the world and also in India, nowadays, I think that's a big part of wellness. And if there are any biohacks that people could use or implement in their lives to sort of make sure that their weight is managed, would you recommend a few that we could do here at the Wellness School?
Well, starting with nutrition, of course, so that you know exactly how much to, and it's probably not even how much, probably what to eat and at what time and what intervals. And along with that, we have IV drips here, like a fat burner IV, which would help. We have other therapies as well, like hyperbaric oxygen therapy. It is seen that it reduces inflammation in the body. Sometimes it's the inflammation that prevents you from losing weight. So a hyperbaric oxygen therapy would help with that. And of course, the far infrared sauna and the whole body cryotherapy, because that also helps in increasing your metabolic rate and thus helping you with your weight loss journey as well.
Wonderful.
I think one other point of discussion that we have here is, of course, regarding sleep and circadian rhythms. So obviously, sleep is becoming a major concern in all countries, and in India also specifically, with the amount of, let's say, cell phone usage, smartphone usage, and kind of blue light kind of exposure and screen time exposure that people have, and also, of course, going to bed at irregular times, waking up at irregular times because of work and life commitments. So how would you, let's say, work on some sort of, like, let's say, sleep goals that a person might have? Because as we've seen, even people who actually do get 7 to 8 hours of sleep also report at a very high level feeling that they're not feeling well rested when they wake up, that their sleep has not been deep as well, and that it's very disturbed or restless kind of time when they're going to bed. How would you kind of work to combat that?
Of course, at home, if they could start with some sort of meditation or maybe listen to some relaxing music before going to bed, especially not to use their social media while going to bed. That would be to start off with. But here at the clinic, we offer them red light therapy. So it's seen that red light releases melatonin, and it also helps in releasing ATP and also in calming your mind down. It also helps in regulating your circadian rhythm. So that would help with your sleep cycle as well. And they could also take far infrared sauna in the evening. That would also help in relaxing and calming down their mind, because it helps in reducing the free radical that we have in our body. And it helps in reducing inflammation, calming down your mind, and thus giving you a nice good night's sleep.
Right. I think something that Rohan and I also have looked into is the integration of different wearable technologies, whether it's a Whoop band or a sleep ring, etc. These things can also offer you really great insights and maybe keep you accountable on a daily basis to ensure that you're getting the proper amount of sleep for whatever level of activity and physical stress that you might have gone on during the day. So I think that's another aspect that people should definitely look into, is if that might be the right fit for them, if they need that extra layer of information. That data can always be a helpful, nudge to point them in the right direction and ensure that, they go to bed at a kind of correct time and also are able to, let's say, combat different levels of sleep debt. I think that's another concept that these days is getting a lot of light in the kind of sleep space, is if you go through multiple days or weeks of regularly disturbed sleep, you start carrying this sleep debt, which you do need to kind of, get yourself rid of and have an extra rest that allows you to kind of get back to feeling normal and not having that feeling of grogginess on a daily basis.
So what are the biohacks that you both do at home as well as here in the clinic to help you?
Sure. So for me, it's quite simple actually, because I live quite a active lifestyle. I'm generally doing hyperbaric oxygen therapy, red light therapy, and cryo for my own recovery. And while I'm at home, there aren't really any biohacks per se, but there's maybe a few methodologies that I subscribe to. For example, not using my phone about 30 minutes before I sleep. I've seen that my sleep is more restful and more deep during the night when I subscribe to this concept. And if I'm on my phone right just before I go to bed, it's kind of disturbed and I don't feel as rested in the morning. So primarily it's these things. I focus on my nutrition, but I wouldn't say that's a biohack per se, but it's just something that I enjoy doing. What about you?
Yeah. So for me, I think, as I mentioned earlier, contrast therapy is something that I really enjoy. So pairing up whole body cryotherapy with a far infrared sauna session helps you to kind of, really get a full body reset. So I try to do that at least once a week, but whole body cryotherapy as much as I can, maybe 5-6 times a week as well. That's a kind of regular one for me. And yes, of course, I think incorporating red light therapy, I try to do it at home as well. So sometime in the evening as I'm kind of winding down helps me a lot with kind of, like improving my little bit of my concentration and my focus in the kind of, pre-bedtime hours and kind of, orienting myself towards my sleep. And another one that I think, currently is kind of gaining a lot of popularity through some of the kind of, top neuroscientists, et cetera, in the world is exposure to morning sunlight. So I think that's something that is super helpful for me personally because I'm someone who kind of struggles a little bit in the morning with kind of getting fully awake without the use of, let's say, caffeine or, coffee or something like that. So I think exposure to morning sunlight is also something that people can really incorporate themselves, just 20 to 30 minutes as soon as they wake up, kind of going outside, being outside, breathing some fresh air and looking at the sun really helps you kind of, wake up every kind of cell in your body and be ready to kind of tackle your day as well. Yeah. And Dr. Guneet, anything that you would like to share from your side on biohacks that you're passionate about?
My all-time favorite is hyperbaric oxygen therapy. Personally, I've seen that although I'm not much of an athlete, but lately I've seen an improvement in my endurance. So hyperbaric oxygen therapy is something that I've kind of seen an improvement in myself, taking it regularly once in a week. Along with that, I like taking, just like you, contrast therapy, which is far infrared and whole body cryotherapy. I think I have the best sleep in the world when I take them. And back at home, like you said, I usually try not to do any social media or watch TV 30 minutes prior going to bed. I usually like to read a book or maybe listen to some music before I hit the bed. And in the mornings, I try to start my mornings with meditation. I'm not an early riser, but I do try that I get up in the morning and start my day with meditation so that I'm in a better headspace for the entire day.
Right. And I think it's important for our viewers probably to also know that it's not so much about exactly what you're doing, but that you have some sort of discipline and some sort of routine when it comes to doing the same things over and over again, right? Whether it's the morning sunlight or the meditation or breath work or even, let's say, a few therapies, if that makes sense and it's the right choice for them, that it happens on a regular basis. It's not like it's a one and done or that you're hoping for a miracle to take place by doing it for a week or something. It's a consistent practice. It's something that has to be incorporated as part of someone's lifestyle. So that's what we also do try to recommend to our clients and to people who we see at the Wellness Co. is that it's a process. It's something that you build upon and you get more and more benefits out of it the more you put into it and the more you stay kind of faithful to the process.
Absolutely. I agree with you on that.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us on this insightful podcast about biohacking. Thank you, Rishabh, and thank you, Dr. Guneet, for shedding light on some very interesting concepts today. I hope there was a lot of learning that's happened for our viewers at home, and we'll join you for the next one. Thank you.